Hi and welcome to Audit Preparation Training. Today we're going to be looking at Section 2, your audit scope. So we're going to be showing you how to make sure that you have the correct standard or regulation or set of controls in the platform that you're being audited against, how to define the audit period based again on what the auditor is requesting. That goes back to that evidence collection period that we were talking about in the earlier trainings, and defining which controls are actually in scope or applicable, the ones that you're going to be auditing against. Okay, so let's get into the training. So here we are in our platform, and actually what we're going to do today is we're going to start from the GRC library and we're going to go into the obligations section. We're going to use AICPA SOC 2 as our example today, and you can see that I actually already have it in my library here. But if you don't see the obligation, or we call that anything that is a regulation, standard or set of requirements, in the platform, we have a menu here. So if we come to the action menu, we have a library of different obligations. You can just click look up and you can search for that obligation here. So let's say we want the new 42001 from ISO, and then you just add that, and that will then populate into your library. So if it's not in our library, just let us know. You can reach out to your account manager, or you can go to the support center and submit a ticket, or just email support@c1risk.com and we'll help you get set up. But let's go into our obligation now. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to set that audit period. So again, that period that the auditor is testing, they'll give you those dates. And we've also used that already for the evidence, setting up the evidence records. But we're going to come into the details tab here. And again, go to our action menu and then just set that same audit period. Okay, so maybe that's... I think we were doing July. And note that you see here, because this is now incorrect, it actually tells us that. So we can just come through and we're going to put this up to our current audit period. And now that period has been set, we can just click save. And what that's actually going to do, you're not going to see anything here right now, but in the summary, in your dashboard, what it's going to do, the dashboard is going to build and read that audit period and everything that you see here. So your internal controls, the request frequency of your evidence, the document requests, the status of them, where they, as they come in and when they're going out, so on and so forth. All of this is going to be based on that audit period that you've set. So this dashboard will show you all the information you need for your current audit. So that's step one. And then now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're only looking at controls that are applicable to us in here. So if we come into the control library, what we can see here is these are all of the controls for SOC 2. And I'm going to open this up so we can see all 61 of these controls. Now, typically with a SOC 2, many companies, they do security, availability, confidentiality, or some subset of controls for SOC 2. So what we want to do is just define those that are applicable. And here's a little trick for you. We're just going to do it this way. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them. So I've got all 61 here. And then I'm just going to come to our action menu and I'm going to do change applicability. And I'm going to make them all yes. Quick and easy way. So because generally speaking, you're being audited against more controls than you are less. And now what I'm going to do is I know that security, availability, and confidentiality, that's the availability, confidentiality, and security, of course, are all the CCs. What I can do now is I can just come down, and now I see that everything from P down, I'm not going to be using. So I'm going to hold down my shift key, and then I'm going to select this here, and then I'm going to go down and see now if I keep my shift key held down, it will bulk select all of these for me. And now what I can do is I can come to change applicability and I can just go no for these. Then I can click save. Now, last thing I want to do is I want to know which controls I'm actually working against. So I'm going to set a filter here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to applicability. I'm going to select yes. And now what I can see is I've got 38 controls that I am actually working on. And now you're basically ready to set up. And if I want to create a permanent list view for this, what I can actually do is come to this control library section. If I want to create a permanent list view of these applicable controls, what I can actually do then is just come to my control library here, go to my obligation and select my obligation. And again, go to the applicability and you see I've kept the applicability here and it shows me that I've got 38 that are applicable. And now I'm going to do save list view. I'm going to call this SOC2 applicable, maybe even 2026 in case that changes. I can share it with other administrators on the tool if I want to, and I just click save. Now I can just go to that and that will stay in the system for me. So here you see now we're into SOC 2 applicable. And so here on out, I can actually just work from this if I want, or I can go into the obligation and just set the filter each time. And now what's going to tell me is when I have an internal control linked, when I have evidence linked, when I have my document requests in, policies, so on and so forth. And we're going to show you how to link everything together in subsequent trainings. So that concludes the training for today. Thank you very much.